Hi, welcome to Beyond the Wall, a show where we get together to discuss every single episode of Game of Thrones on the day it happens. And today was the last one ever. And with me, I have with my guests to discuss. Very famous comedian, needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. Yeah. Ashish Shakya, one half of Books on Toast. Give it up for Anuya. She said just before we started that it's okay if you mess names up. Yeah. So, welcome to the show, Anuya Jakatdar. And of course, famed writer Meghna Pant, who also said that she does not remember names.
So I thought you were going to introduce me as Saurabh Pant.
Saurabh Pant, yes. I'm here sitting with Saurabh Pant. Let's get the audience involved straight away. If you haven't watched today's episode, this would be a good time to stop watching because we're going to discuss all the spoilers. So first question, audience and for my guest. Did you like the episode and was this the best episode of the season? 100% or no way? Starting with you.
No way. Absolutely not.
Okay. And so what was the best episode of the season then? Now that it's done.
The long battle, I think, like, I know it was very dark and it was criticized for that, but for me, like, the fact that they took, what, 2 months to shoot it and just the detailing, I thought it was very well done. I mean, historically, like, the longest war scene shot in the world's history.
So, long night for you?
This was definitely not the best, and again, it's really weird to judge a finale in isolation, because I felt like the earlier sort of sloppiness undercut the season. The best episode that I liked was, in terms of scale and just sheer force, was The Bells. And just in terms of feels, the second episode.
Okay.
Because like we were discussing earlier, right, that episode, nothing bad had happened yet.
Yes.
And in terms of the writing, so you were like, oh, this is a good season. It will go the way I want it to.
Yeah, this might actually be fun.
We had hope, we had hope.
We had hope then. Anuya?
We were innocent.
Anuya, what did you think?
First of all, this question is like, it's like a really terrible game of fuck, marry, kill.
Basically,
you give 3 terrible options and say
it's
which
just
one
kill,
will
kill,
you marry.
kill. Yeah. It's just kill, kill, kill.
But if I have to pick, then I would say this was the best episode.
You'd say this was the best episode?
From an outrage perspective.
Like the less to outrage about?
The least annoying one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I could justify things to myself after talking to myself extensively.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Good to know that. That was good. So it ended in an okay place.
Okay. But okay, what did the audience have to say? Audience had to say
no way.
No way. Everybody's like just no way. Nobody liked this finale.
But then what was the best episode
of the season?
It's, very hard to pick.
What did you like? Yeah.
I think for me it's a toss up between 2 and 5. The Bells or the one basically for that. Like my favorite scene of the season, the one where they all sit down and have a drink.
Yeah, that was
before the battle. That was vintage Game of Thrones. That was classic. That was quality. That was.
That's what Jamie did in that.
This episode is going so well.
Guys, I'm so glad.
Sorry, a ton of bricks fell on me. So
it's fine, guys. It's fine. But in general, start with you, Anuya. What did you think of the episode? Was it a good finale to the show? Forget the season. Like to this show that we have loved for the most part and watched for 8 seasons.
No.
Not a good finale?
I saw people on Twitter saying that it was and this was a great season. And to them, I just want to say, what are you smoking?
Okay.
Because this was a terrible season.
Yeah.
I don't know why the responsibility of this should fall on marijuana. I just want to point out that I don't see what that has to do with anything. Like it's just this is stereotyping.
Like
stereotyping.
Crystal meth, they smoke
it's just
that,
horrible
right?
stereotyping. It's just horrible stereotyping.
I don't know. It could be smoking.
Are you okay, Anuya?
Yeah. Did you dislike it that much? Did you? Meghna, what did you think?
I did not like this season at all.
No, what was the finale specifically?
For me, as a woman, I had a major problem with the narrative, with the way Dany's narrative arc just ended.
Okay.
So I felt surprisingly, Cersei's arc, I think like they'd given it that sort of pacing and the momentum and the timing and the slowing down of the pacing that it needed. But all the other female characters, except perhaps for Arya and Sansa towards the end, I felt like, what were they doing with Dany? I mean, I just felt the writers in the last 2 seasons went very wrong with the pacing. Perhaps because George Martin has still not finished writing those books.
Right.
So I felt like they were struggling a bit with the plot, with the character arc. I don't know, that's what especially for the female characters.
I read a really great article which spoke about how in the beginning Game of Thrones was good was because the characters were driving the plot, and then
Right.
the last 2 seasons the plot was driving the characters, and so
Sure.
it went all haywire.
Yeah, we need to kill a dragon. So look, let's take everybody north of the wall.
Everybody.
We need to kill another dragon.
Ah,
So let
cool.
Daenerys
Let
just be
Daenerys
like,
be
no,
blind, man."
she's just looking up at side.
Yeah.
She's not looking niche.
Not
She's
seeing-
like, oops. Bye.
Question, would this episode have worked better if it was a finale of a slightly better season? Exactly this episode, but at the end of a better season.
So okay, yeah. To a
Like,
certain-
since you're saying your problems are that the Danny thing wasn't earned, etc., whatever, say all of that happened, would this be
I feel
on
like
its
none
own a
of
good
them were
episode?
fleshed out. Like even Bran, I mean, what were they doing? They should have built it up. If they wanted to make him king, they should have built it up.
I mean,
Came
I
out of
guess
left
what I'm
center.
saying, congrats, bro. Like, we're very happy for your success. You know, you
I'm
deserved
not.
it. You deserved it. You
This is like
obviously
Rahul
deserved
Gandhi
it.
becoming prime
it
minister.
could have been so, but
Obviously.
Again,
To answer
Rahul
your
Gandhi campaigned to become Bran.
Bran had a
Wait
like
for
an
her.
eye.
either Rahul Gandhi hated का कोई जरूरत नहीं है, वैसे भी बेचारे हार रहे हैं.
Technically, Hodor did more to get Bran made king
Yes.
than Bran did to get Bran made king.
No,
Even
see,
Meera.
so logically.
Even Meera.
Yeah, Meera.
Oh,
Reason he's
Meera
still there.
busted her
he-
ass.
And people have just forgotten her.
he-
Bran
that
lost
was
his
cold.
humanity. Someone who doesn't have his humanity anymore has been made king. Couldn't Sansa have been made king?
I would have
They-
preferred that.
West
That would have been-
Winterfell would have stayed in the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, exactly.
And Bran would have been by her side as a hand or whatever.
advisor,
He
yeah.
is, if it's the wisdom that we are basing all of this
Seeking,
on,
yeah.
True.
then she would have had access to
And
that
who's
same
gone
wisdom.
through more?
No, I think
Who's gone through more and who's
logically,
actually
And who
seen
has-
statecraft up
Yeah,
close more
yeah,
than...
who
I would
This
have
is
preferred
somebody who
experience.
has had to see Joffrey work up close, Cersei work up close,
Yeah.
then has been
Bolton.
mentored by Littlefinger.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that makes you like...
yeah, I guess
far
the
more
only
qualified.
logical way they addressed it was that the other houses wouldn't really come around to Sansa ruling, which was there.
But then why would they come around to Bran ruling? Like,
Because Bran seems harmless. I don't know. I can't justify D&D anymore.
Why?
because what?
But if it had been fleshed out,
there was a meme that I saw today which I think sums it up, and it struck me also when like Tyrion goes, "Who has a better story than Bran the Broken?" And I'm like, literally every person in this scene, literally every person. Arya's like, "मैं पागल हूँ. I lost my eyes for like several months. Like, तुम लोग
He
पागल हो क्या?"
murdered the Night King and now he compared it, like,
Who has a which actually then brings us to now let's talk about this. That we talked about everything that didn't work. Bring it back to the positive a little bit, guys. Like one of our favorite shows is over. Today, let's show some grace if we can, right? So, what according to you, audience, and you guys, what was the best moment for this episode? Was it Jon stabbing Dany? Was it Drogon melting the Iron Throne? Was it Dany's grand arrival? Or was it Jon reuniting with Ghost? Anuya?
Drogon showing up from the snow, like
That's
rising
true.
up
That
from
was
the
a
rock,
beautiful
yeah,
scene.
yeah.
That was a
And,
beautiful. That was a
yeah,
very,
very
very
nice.
evocative scene.
letting Jon pass.
Even Danny's,
That
the
was-
Drogon's.
oh, that one you're talking about?
Yeah,
That one? No, no.
yeah, that was
I
beautiful.
mean,
When he
Dany's
rises out.
entrance, when she
When
walks
the
up.
dragon
They
comes
build
out.
up to her
Yeah.
arrival, and
Yeah.
you haven't seen her since the last episode,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah.
middle of last
That was
episode,
beautiful.
and then flanked by those two wings.
Yeah.
That was some Palpatine level.
full-
God.
Remember, we were just discussing this. I think, like writers in general and pop culture would be in a terrible place in terms of how to show fascism if the Nazis hadn't happened, because everything is
All the imagery
very
is the same,
reminiscent
right?
of that.
All the
Danny
imagery
giving
is the
that
same.
speech, that sort of speech,
Yeah.
the crowds, the steps, the big black and red
All
banner,
of it. All of it. The imagery was very much that.
and that was very effective.
That was.
whole speech was very effective. Her entrance was great. So again, if they had taken time to turn her into the Mad Queen over
Yeah.
1 season, 2 seasons, maybe I don't know, and
It would have made more
I
sense.
felt
It
it
would have
was-
worked.
Yeah, her death was very anticlimactic,
Very.
right?
Even
It was-
Bran's.
Yeah.
I think, but Drogon melting the Iron Throne was, for me, definitely the most. If we had to pick of these 4 options, because you weren't expecting it, right?
Yeah.
Like caught off
I
guard.
guess. No,
I
was
thought
like,
Jon would be fireproof.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought, like
that
the-
he
that
he
might
would touch
get
the
Jon,
ground,
and
yeah.
then he'd sort of be like, well, crap. Turns out
Yeah.
it's not a thing.
Yeah.
The answers, what did people think? What did people think?
Drogon
People
melting
thought
the-
that Drogon melting the Iron Throne
Yeah, it was, a
was...
beautiful scene.
Really?
Very
Although
powerful.
Jon
Yeah.
reuniting with Ghost, guys.
No, yeah, that was looking
That
very
was
last
like-
minute
what
touch,
he
yeah.
thought.
That was like, super
Yeah.
last
It was
minute.
very
Like,
contrived.
I liked it.
also like Jon is he's maximum fuckboy. Like he was all like, he walked away from Ghost like with nothing, and now
Yeah.
suddenly like, hey, I guess I'm back in the Night's Watch, you know, like my life didn't go so great. How you doing,
Nice to
buddy?
meet you.
Hey, you up, Ghost? What's up? And Ghost has lost an ear. You know, did you notice that?
Yeah.
He's like,
But
now you come
that
back.
happened in the long night.
Yeah, that happened in the long night. But he's like, now you come back to me? That sucks.
But वो बड़ा contrived scene था वैसे. I felt
Yeah,
like
John and
they must
Danny
have got
का.
flack for that.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
The ghost thing.
The ghost thing.
I don't know. It felt
No,
like
people loved it.
People
Everybody
loved
was
it.
happy,
Yeah.
Fan service.
Yeah.
It was the last bit of fan service that was left to do.
Pandering.
I feel like though.
I liked it.
I liked it. It worked. It was
Yeah,
sweet.
I was like, I
John
don't mind
stabbing
it.
Danny. That was the big, obviously, scene
So-
around which the whole show, technically,
Yeah,
has been
technically.
set and building up to. So,
Did you see that happening then?
so you know what? I kind of did, but was hoping that's not how it would go. Because when he walked in the room, I'm like, hope this is not one of those things where it's like, I love you, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was my
exactly.
first thought when he walked into the room, and I was like, but I feel like I've seen that in movies before.
Yeah.
So even when it happened, I was a bit like, okay, so they're obviously playing this for the tragedy angle and not the
Yeah.
dramatic, oh, she finds out and then like she tries to stop him and there's some sort of
But,
intrigue, or it could go either way.
Or
given
so you
that this is
wanted it
Game
the
of
other
Thrones.
way?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
And then when it happened, I was a bit like, I mean, it's nice
Anticlimactic.
enough. It's nice enough. But it's just, okay, that's the big end to your...
But you know, the season has been so bad that I
Yeah.
thought John is like, okay, I'm forever yours, bending the knee.
Yeah, and that's just bending the knee.
I did.
I was like,
Just-
then when he killed, I was actually surprised.
You're like,
Maybe
wow,
that
John.
was what they intended.
John, wow.
They didn't build it up like Tyrion just like gives them those little lines about
Very bad.
love and
Exactly,
duty and all
exactly.
that. Uske basis pe he goes and
But so I didn't expect John to do it then, which is like, oh, okay. Because when they're kissing, you see his face, and I'm like, wait, something's going to happen.
Yeah,
So his
yeah,
face
yeah.
is like he's kissing a rotten egg or something.
That's his face every
That's
time he
his
kisses
face.
Daenerys.
That's
So
true.
he's like a John and
Yeah.
like
Meri-
they have the same expression throughout.
Meri
When he's
bua hai
sad,
ye.
when he's happy.
Basically, one of the two of them is now okay with this relationship.
Don't say that.
What?
This is my bua.
Which is basically what it is, though.
No, so
basically what it is,
I
though.
didn't mind them killing her then, because the last two scenes I wanted to slap John. I was like, "Tu kya bol raha hai? She's my queen. She also has reasons."
No, I like that
So I-
basically
so I
Tyrion
was
at
like
the
the
end of
face in
the
the
day
process.
had to appeal to his MCP-ness.
Yeah.
Very basically like, I won't, she's my queen, whatever. And then like, लेकिन तेरी बहनों का सोच. And he's like, oh crap. That's correct.
Behnos are sitting there. We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
The Night King को मारा मैं कर लेगा.
Yeah, it's fine. We got this. Like my favorite was in that moment where they're all sort of sitting together and deciding who the next king or queen should be. When Arya looks at Yara and says, "Say one more word about my brother. I'll cut your throat." So cool. I'm like, holy crap. Raksha Bandhan happens ulta in Westeros.
The councilman scene was just, I don't know, too
was
rushed
great.
now. You liked it?
No, I really liked it.
I thought
like
that's
that
giant dump of
jazz.
exposition.
It
Like,
was, but that's
and
where.
Sam
right?
kind of like played democracy
But
and all
that's
that.
where Tyrion appeared 20% smarter than he'd been all season.
That's true.
He was just like, finally he gets some sort of a moment.
There was
Some sort of
Yeah.
justification for Bran becoming a thing. He's the memory and blah,
But
blah,
again,
blah.
so rushed to go from here's this
So
prisoner who has been brought in to meet his fate to guy who literally in one speech just sets out the fate of the Six Kingdoms.
Yeah. And they all listen.
And they're all like,
all
yeah,
listen.
well,
Yeah.
this guy we were about to try for
Yeah.
murder, you know, he's right. That was little
I assume the
exposition dump.
time,
Max.
my way of rationalizing it, the time jump between the stabbing and that council
Sure,
meeting was
sure.
enough
It was
time
supposed
for
to be in a
everyone
couple of
to.
weeks.
But
Fair.
then they should have first let him go or whatever.
I was just surprised that John ko mara nahi. Like,
Haan,
Grey Worm was
haan.
nuts
Grey
in
Worm.
Yeah,
life.
yeah, exactly.
How did he not just kill
Just
John one
immediately,
night?
and they were
Like,
just
yeah.
slaughtering
Dothraki.
soldiers
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
street.
cut.
Like 2 seconds
Dothraki ने
before
कुछ
that.
नहीं किया.
Like,
Brave
who-
was-
who-
none
They
of
just
them.
vanished.
चले गए.
They
And
just
how
vanished.
did the Dothraki army suddenly increase when she was giving the speech, by the way? Because didn't they all kind of vanish during the long
But then they
battle?
heard she won, no, so they came back.
Came back in the
Hey, वापस आ, वापस आ.
Suddenly,
बहुत
इतने
बदला है
Dothraki आ
उधर.
गए.
बहुत बदला है
There were
उधर.
lot of plot holes I felt in
Yeah,
this
even
season,
they
and
made
particularly in
us
this
think that all
episode.
the Dothraki died.
Died, and
then,
suddenly there were so scores,
It's
like
your fault for
hundreds of
thinking
them.
that because they
Yeah.
shut off the lights, so it's up to you. That's why I don't know. They maybe played. They maybe played with that open ending for
Or
them.
maybe there were
Just-
two.
Maybe they were
sets.
reserve force.
Maybe Doctor Strange just portaled them
Yeah.
all back in when required.
That's how you do battles. That's how you
do a
defeat
battle.
the big bad. 6,
That's-
8 heroes
Oh,
working
I
together.
saw
taking
Endgame
out-
again one day yesterday.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, tomorrow's going to suck so much.
that happens.
It's going to hurt
That
more
happens.
now.
Yeah, so you don't wait
That was
for
the greatest battle ever.
That was the greatest
Yeah.
battle ever. I agree. That was
Arya
quite
coming
something.
in from behind Night King.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
such a good
yeah.
scene.
That was we have
yeah.
very divided
Then
opinions
Hawkeye
here
is
on
Samara.
this.
No, you liked
I
it.
loved
She
it.
didn't deserve
I was
that.
like, go,
I
woman,
love
go.
Arya.
She
I
didn't- Meri
love
Choti
Arya.
That's
Nari
fine.
didn't
Go
deserve
woman
that
go
kill.
is
She
great.
didn't deserve
But
that
like,
kill.
where
It
did she
was-
come from?
It was unearned. Like we were talking about this, right? Like it felt like if in Endgame all this shit happened,
Yeah.
then end में Spider-Man side से आके Thanos को मार
Yeah.
दिया. It felt like that. Love the character,
Yeah.
but not his villain to kill. So Arya felt like that, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you're cool. Do the face thing again. Do
Yeah,
one
do
more
the face
face
thing again. Just do the face thing.
shit
Why
again.
not facing her disguise just vanished?
After
Went
Walter
away.
It wasn't required
After
anymore.
Walter
After,
Just wasn't
yeah.
required anymore. She
Yeah.
just became the horse in that one scene. That was she's like, I never need to do this again.
She became the horse.
I just decided that
Arya.
somewhere she killed
Why
a
the
horse
long
also,
face?
and now she can take on a horse's face also whenever she wants. So I've
Yeah,
decided.
done.
So I had told you guys before the show that because it's a serious show where we seriously critically
Cheers.
evaluate Game of Thrones,
Let's get serious, guys.
I am going to require each of you to give me one terrible pun
Cool.
Oh God.
about Game of Thrones. I'm going to start with you, Ashish.
I've been thinking about it. So I have one in particular because it bothers me what they've done to Brienne.
Okay.
So my
Yeah.
terrible pun with regards to whatever happened to Brienne is now she is Brienne of Tart. Yes, no, yes, somewhat. Okay, cool.
I'm laughing.
Still
because-
more effort went into the writing of that pun than the long night.
I also have a Brienne pun.
Okay, go on.
Okay,
Great,
okay.
great.
So after the second episode, okay, Brienne became the long night.
Huh? Oh.
The long night?
Long
Night, that's a good one.
That is a
Do
good
you have a
one.
Brienne one as well?
No.
Changing it up? Okay.
I am taking it up.
Changing it
notch,
up a
I
little
hope.
bit? Okay, cool.
So the Red Priestess asks, what do you think of season 8? And the answer is, the show is dark and full of errors.
Very good.
Did I nail it, guys? Did I nail it? I just came up with that.
Nailed it. Totally
Very good,
nailed
very
it.
good, yeah.
Like
I get
totally
50
named
rupees
it.
for this?
You don't get 50
What the
rupees. Why
hell,
would you
man?
get 50 rupees for
वो hair
this?
and makeup पे आपका
That,
लगा है.
huh? Like why
That's
would you
इतना सस्ता कभी नहीं मिलता.
Do I get
Spoken
grey
like
worm for
a
this?
You do not get Grey Worm for this. Who
Guys,
wants to hear
don't
my
you think I
pun?
deserve it?
Nobody,
No.
but I'll say it anyway.
say.
If Samuel was not always late,
I know what.
Oh, I know what you're
Yeah.
going to say.
then what would you call him?
Samuel
Tardy.
Yeah.
Hey,
On
mine
that.
was better than all three of you.
The audience shall decide who was the best punner of the day. Was it Sir Rohan? Was it Lady Anuya? Was it Her Grace Meghna? Or was it Lord Ashish?
Hey, I want to be Sir Anuya.
I want to be Lord.
It's
Well,
a fair word.
then
I
you
think
should have
so.
arrived in time for the pre-production meeting.
I think the exit
poll.
poll say Ashish. I'm just saying.
The exit poll says, "Aega to Modi." So what exit poll says? So I think we'll find out. So yours was Brienne of Tart.
Yes.
Yours was?
Long night.
Yours was Long Night.
The show is dark and full of errors.
I forgot mine.
Samuel
Good.
Wait, while we're waiting for this answer, since Brienne came up, I would like to point out that single largest fuck up of a character on this show for so many characters they fucked up is what they did to Brienne today. The most bad-ass person on this show, in her last scene, you basically reduce her to like Jamie ki like roti hui vidwa, like literally.
Wikipedia
Like
editor.
this literally feels like the end of Sholay, but like 30, 40 years too late. Like it was not required.
Unnecessary. She didn't
really,
need to sleep with
Brienne's
him. What
story is
why?
like a-
But
Like-
she is Lord Commander of the King's Guard.
Which is great, and that's how they should have left it.
That is awesome.
That's how they should have
Yeah.
left it.
But they always,
like
so
one
Jamie
female
said
and a
good things
council.
about Barristan Selmy also. I mean, mostly they do not say ki harami tha. Like, you know, that's
Even
not,
then.
They do say, like, they glorify the
sure.
last Lord Commander.
But still, like they
wasn't
just
it a
made her
little
very.
sorry? Yeah, because she was.
Yeah, she should have.
Sex with me and
but
then
I
you don't
disagree
call
that
me.
hers was there was much more character disservice.
Who else did they do character
Jamie.
disservice to? Jamie was the
Jamie.
terrible,
Yeah.
of course.
Jamie.
I
Of
like
course.
Brienne doing that would have made sense if they had done justice to Jamie's character. I loved Brienne and Jamie.
Sure,
getting
exactly.
together.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that
I
arc should have
liked
ended
it.
a long
Yeah,
time ago.
yeah.
Like
But
it
I
just
loved
became.
it.
They
Oh, like
turned
the
what
fact
could have
that-
been a
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
character moment into basically fan service. They
Yeah.
basically turned the Jamie and Brienne getting together into one moment of fan
Yes,
service and then
ruined
what
it.
could have been a beautiful ending. Who did you think made the best pun, guys? Give the answer.
Woohoo! I'm
Damn
taking
it.
Grey
The
Worm.
show is you can't take Grey Worm, guys.
Guys,
You
can I have
can't.
a vote on whether I'm
Just
allowed
want to
to?
point out,
It's
this is a
gone.
low budget
It's
show.
gone.
These props are rented. No one can take them home, please. No one can take them
Can
Yeah,
the
home.
but the
audience
show is
decide?
over now.
Step
You don't
away.
need these.
Arey, but the shop that they come from does.
Can the audience
Please,
decide?
audience will not decide this. This is something that we will decide.
And I lost a pun contest. How do I live with
You
myself?
you did lose a pun contest.
Game of
I'm
Thrones is
really
over
sorry.
and I lost pun
I'm
contest.
Can I
really,
make
really
another
sorry.
pun?
Yeah.
I'm a punt, so I won the pun.
Moving on. Take that. Moving on. Then after Danny's death and all that happens, suddenly we get King's Moot, where everybody basically goes, "Acha, to kisko king banna chahiye?" And then they decide on the spot
Mere
that
dad nahi
it should be of all people. I don't think I saw this coming. Bran
Yeah,
Stark.
Oh God,
Nobody saw it
awful.
coming.
Bran Stark, king
Yeah.
of the. That feels like not necessary at all.
I'm just
Anyone
I'm
but
sad.
him, yeah.
I'm so sad.
I
I'm just-
was indifferent by this point. Also, I knew it was coming because of the fan theories, etc. Also, shout out to the props team for keeping the ball enjoying this discussion.
This scene brings me to my next question because I feel like I know what's going to happen. I know what the answer is going to be in this. What, according to you, is the best dialogue in today's episode? Was it love is more powerful than reason? Love is the death of duty? Uncle, sit down. Or why do you think
I like
I
that
came
now.
all this way? What was yours? Mine, Uncle, sit
Uncle
down.
sit down.
Sit down.
Oh,
Uncle, sit
slam
down.
dunk.
You know that's
Oh.
going to be a meme for centuries.
Yeah, you can use it
Like,
anywhere.
you know, like we were talking before the show, it can be from a wedding in Ghaziabad, like, all the way to Game of Thrones to the United Nations.
I like the
Somebody will have context, be like, Uncle, sit down. Yes.
appreciate the nod to Ghaziabad, buddy.
Always. I knew you were coming, I was like, I'll put in one Ghaziabad joke for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
Uncle
for
sit
sure,
down
I
is
will put in one.
spectacular. I can't wait to use it in real life.
That,
Yeah.
dude, I feel like any debate featuring mansplaining is now going to
The
have
uncle
sit
the
down.
Yeah.
Uncle sit
That
down.
was
What
a
about
funny moment.
duty
It
is
was
a
very
life?
funny.
Yeah, duty is the death of love. Isn't that what led
थोड़ा
to the
फिल्मी
killing?
नहीं था.
बहुत फिल्मी था यार.
और उसकी वजह से तो वो
And they call it
मारा
out
यार.
also because they
Yeah.
know, the writers know it's filmy, so he says it and Tyrion is like, did you just come
Did
up
you
with
just
that?
come
Did you
with
just
that?
like, yeah.
Something Aemon Targaryen said. I did
Yeah,
it,
it's
whatever.
like- in general, I think we should listen to what Targaryens say. Is my feeling.
No, yeah, poor
Like,
Aemon.
yeah.
Aemon say that. He
That's
was
true.
a nice
Aemon
man.
was the only nice Targaryen.
Yeah.
And
Sweet
see, no,
guy.
he had to take the black.
You take the black.
Yeah,
And then
obviously.
that sucks. Because I'm saying you can't listen to a Targaryen. According to the audience, what was the best dialogue from today's episode? Audience.
Uncle
Uncle sit down.
Yeah.
Uncle, sit down. Obviously, it was Uncle, sit down. The thing that annoyed me in this scene was Tyrion's big gambit for making Bran the king was who has a better story
Yeah.
than Bran the Broken. So which I'd like to ask the audience and I'd like to ask you guys. Guys, who has a better story than Bran the Broken? Is
Everyone.
it A,
Everyone.
Arya? Is it B, Sansa? Is it C, Hawkeye? Or is it D, literally everyone?
Yeah, literally everyone.
Literally everyone.
Who would have made a better king? Chal.
Me.
Okay, cool. I must have missed you in the last season somewhere. Like I didn't see you.
I just, how does Bran as king work? Because he can see everything that's led up to this moment. He
And
can see
apparently
the
he
future.
can-
some parts of
Now,
the future.
some parts of the
Yeah,
future.
yeah. So I think the
But like how-
Bran's power works like a reel.
But he can't control much of it.
So
can he?
basically, they were taking advice from Bran this whole time when he potentially saw a future with that all of this would lead to millions of people dead
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
himself as king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he was acting as some sort of altruistic three-eyed raven.
But also he doesn't
He
want to
can't
be king because
change things.
he can't feel it.
no,
can't
correct. He can't
change.
feel it. He can't change. But then why did he become king?
But I
No, why did he become the
I was-
raven? क्या तू खाली मतलब
किस-
this is like when you Google Docs पे you give somebody permission to just read the document not to make changes.
I think he became Raven because he likes to Netflix and chill. He likes to Netflix and chill. Like you saw, he's going to be a terrible king. Like you saw a little council meeting, right? Where he comes in and they're all talking and he looks only disinterested and he's like, हाँ अच्छा Drogon किधर है? They're like, we heard he's in these. He's like, cool, मैं ढूंढ के आता हूँ. And he bounced.
That was the funny thing.
It's the best excuse in the world.
He's like, I'll find Drogon.
See what the dragon is.
Make all the
Be right back, guys.
And after everything has happened,
Yeah, decision making.
and all these other guys are basically like,
Where's he gone?
so I think brothel should be.
That's so tonally that was so weird. I was talking to somebody. हम बिस्वा से बात कर रहे थे same चीज. He called it Council of Bakchudi. I was like, it's true.
That is
Because
what it
the second day exists, guys, brothel बना गए. क्या तुम्हारा भाई brothel करता है? तू coin दे डाले. It was, if you wrote a parody, it was that. It was.
Yeah.
It was
It was
was
very
literally
funny,
that.
but-
And then
So
Sam coming in with the we call it a song.
Oh,
And
wanted
fire.
to
That's George
slap.
Martin putting himself.
Yeah.
Slap.
No, that's 2 steps away from like 2 twins being born to Sansa at the end. And she's like, I will call them David Benioff and David White. But वो भी डाल दो ना.
उनको भी
वो
डाल
डाल दो अंदर. मतलब उसमें क्या है?
But by the way, guys, I'm convinced that Sam and Bran made up this whole thing that Jon is a Targaryen, just to mess with everybody's mind.
It still made no difference
Because
though.
it divided Danny and Jon. Otherwise,
For
he was
like
so much
5
in love with
minutes, it
him.
had no bearing at the end.
Listen, Danny and John never felt like they were together in the first place.
That's because of bad
Yeah.
acting.
Also, they would have been divided anyway because she's going around burning human beings.
Burning
so
and, like,
eventually
all other
that would have
creatures.
But
happened.
she
Yeah.
got insecure once she
Because
thought
of
that Jon
that,
is
yeah.
a threat.
And,
so I
and
feel like
John
it was
stopped
contrived.
kissing her.
Let's
so-
just see
so
what
they
the
both
audience
did.
says in the
Yeah.
answer to this thing. Literally everyone had a better
Seriously.
story
Yeah.
than Bran the Broken.
I
That
said,
would have been-
who do you think should have been king? I firmly stand behind Sansa, but I want to hear.
I also would go with Sansa. Like, I feel like the ultimate couple would be Sansa and Tyrion ruling together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
Right?
God, when we had that
Sansa and
scene,
Tyrion ruling together.
Season before this.
I was
Yes.
like OTP.
Yes. Yeah. Full on. Sansa and Tyrion ruling together is just
OTP. One true pair. Not like
not
bank
like
OTP.
what you pay or like bills. Like, yeah.
You don't know what
One true
OTP
pair.
is?
I mean, no, I didn't know this was
Wow,
a thing.
I'm sorry I invited you on the show.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
All the
old
young
man,
people watching, we're sorry.
Maester
We had
Raymond
no
came
idea.
to the
I'm pretty sure
Like,
doesn't know what
GRR
millennial
OTP
Westeros
नहीं
is.
लिखा
He's more Kaiban than like. Kaiban पूर्ण शहर.
Just think that.
Serious.
But
Serious.
why?
See, that's true actually. No, why? Because now, you know what? It is at the end of the day, this is the end of a very big
Era.
It's a big era, right?
Yes.
Like, we've spent 7-8 years. Like, think about it. Not many shows that make you go, you watch the first season, then you go, fuck, I want to read all the books
Yeah.
that this show is
Exactly
based
what-
on.
what all of us
That
have done,
discussion.
right?
Yes.
Then you wait for people to catch up with the
Yeah,
books
then
for
it
those
feels
who
months,
aren't,
5
right?
years.
We've all, because see, don't
Yeah.
forget, before this last season, we had moments like, everybody remembers what it was like to be a book reader who knew the Red Wedding was coming and watching with
Red
book
Wedding,
readers, right?
then,
Everybody remembers it.
In the end, Tywin Lannister did not shit gold.
Did not shit gold and seeing that
right,
translated
oh.
on screen. So
Jamie, when he has that moment in the bathtub after his arm is cut
Yeah.
off and he says, why should the lion, explain him?
Himself to sheep.
To the wolf.
Lion does not concern itself with the opinion of sheep.
No. He says,
That was
why
Tywin.
should the lion be judged by the wolf? He says
Okay.
that. Why should
Okay.
the wolf sit in judgment of the lion? And that scene gave me goosebumps. That's when I fell in love with like the Jamie character arc.
Right.
Because it talks about how, by the way, also killed the queen and then became part of the king's guard because
Yeah.
the king.
yeah.
But John को उन्होंने भेज दिया. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. Anyway,
The
whatever.
pacing was all wrong.
Yeah. Anything happened
didn't
in
break-
this.
anything
He's
was
worried
yeah.
about the unsullied and
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah,
just
it's some like
Jamie.
truly genius moments.
Yeah, we should actually, because we get sidetracked by puns.
Yeah.
But we should, like, just a shout out to fuck so much the great. It
One
is
of the best
genuinely.
shows on TV.
Yeah, one of the most biggest achievements in entertainment history.
100% for
Massive,
sure.
it is
No
for
taking
sure.
that away from it.
I mean,
It's
it's
sort
ridiculous.
of the fact is that television had just not happened at this scale before.
No.
Yeah.
Like it had
was-
just
yeah,
never
yeah,
happened
it
at this scale before, and it went to. I think maybe that became part of the problem where they started to feel like scale was the USP of the show and not
Scale and
the
shock
intricacy.
value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where it was actually the intricacy that was
That was
fun
required.
It was
about
the,
it.
right.
And
it
the
was
character
the characters.
arcs,
It
yeah.
was
Yeah, it
always
was
the
the character
characters.
journeys that was what
Yeah.
made it.
Like I feel like it's a little sad that we're watching a show now where we hate characters we used to love. When for the first
Yeah.
few seasons, this show somehow managed to make us love people we should hate.
Yeah.
In all
Like
the
we
shades,
should
yeah.
hate,
Amy,
right?
Exactly.
And also, even
yeah.
Cersei, you're like, fuck, she's so clever.
Yeah.
So at least you have
I
that.
admire
she's ruthless.
Cersei a lot.
Yeah.
I admire
Yeah.
Cersei.
Yeah.
And no, for all the fact that he was like a terrible person on every level, it was just a joy to watch Ramsay Bolton on screen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like
Goosebumps.
that like I'm saying, if you're going to do
Yeah.
delicious evil, that's how you do it, not
That's how you
Euron.
do it.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Not Euron, not
It's
this
like,
cartoon.
no,
Like,
I hope
Yeah.
Jamie's there on the show.
I'm saying we should also remember this is a show that gave us.
And then he talks to himself.
Yeah.
I mean, matlab,
I killed Jamie.
Yeah.
He's like Mort in Madagascar, you know, he keeps chasing and King is like, quick, get away. So yeah,
Hard Home, Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah, all these things. Don't forget, it's a show that gave
Blackfire.
us all this. Blackwater,
Blackwater,
like
sorry,
in season 2,
Blackfire.
now seems like, but
Yeah.
Even Watermelon when he crushed his head.
Targaryen
when what?
bastards.
When
When the mountain crushed his
the
head.
Viper's head.
Oh,
Yes.
And that was
Let's
Do you
not
remember
forget
the
that.
outrage? Do you
Yes.
remember the reaction?
Yes.
You,
Of
you
course.
raped her. You what? You
Yeah.
raped her. You killed her. What? What was that thing that he says? Pedro Pascal.
Completely forgot.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Too many
Basically,
seasons ago.
yeah.
Can we talk about how John is a fuck all, but we love him anyway?
Of course we can, which brings
I
me to a
don't know if I
question
love
of,
him anyway.
right? One thing that I liked about the finale was we end with the people who we started with, which is the Starks.
Yes.
Like it is essentially about a show. It is a show that started with this one family, and it ends with like the kids going their own way, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so, who, according to you, and I want to ask the audience this, and you guys this, who got the best last scene? Was it Arya on a boat? Was it Sansa, Queen of the North? Was it Jon, King Beyond the Wall? Or was it Dany, Beyond Life itself? Who, according to you, got the best
I
last
would,
scene?
for me, it was Sansa because that moment generally gave me goosebumps. again, testament to the fact that this show is so good that despite all of this, in the end, you're so invested that you look at these three characters and fuck Sansa. You remember Sansa?
Again, remember where Sansa started
Remember
as
she
the
started.
starting. Where there's a point in season one, it's just
slap
like, I
her.
want Arya to just stab her
Yeah,
and
with
finish it. Like,
needles,
just get it over
Oh,
with.
that moment when he's like, you still have needle, and
Needle,
she's
yeah.
like,
Yeah. Oh man.
It was played just right because if they had said stick them with the pointy and I was
Stick
like,
them with the- yeah,
थोड़ा
too
ज़्यादा
much.
हो गया. ये line का ज़रूरत नहीं
This
था.
would, yeah, that was
But until
completely-
then it was great. Yeah.
Until
super.
you thought Sansa, what did you think?
Sansa, because I mean Arya, the memes say it, right? She's going to become a colonizer and
Basically
she's
got
going
to
to give
become a
everybody
colonizer.
jobs.
She's absolutely going to do that.
Wipe out
For
the
me it was-
indigenous population.
yeah.
I like
That's
the one
joke.
that said Arya when she goes west and then eventually ends up on the east coast of S08E06.
Oh, it's round. Oh shit.
They'll
How'd
figure
that
it out.
happen?
For me, it was Arya on a boat because I'm so invested in her character.
I would watch that
and
spin-off.
I feel like
Yeah,
there's
everybody
a
is
spin-off.
saying
I
that.
remember
Two
Arya on a
seconds
boat
when I
and she
saw-
left Bravos also.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is when I saw Arya on a boat, I was actually half hoping, like for even like 10%, I was hoping that in the background you would see Yara Greyjoy come in, and they were going off sailing together.
That would be
I'd be like,
awesome.
I would watch that buddy
That would
cop
be
movie.
awesome.
I would watch the shit out of that show. Like,
Arya on a boat is an animated show for kids where
That's
she goes
Arya the
and
Explorer.
Has, yeah.
Arya the
has
Explorer.
adventures
And just
yeah.
colonizes.
Stick them with the pointy end. It's awesome. Like someone make this.
Hey kids!
Today we are going to kill everyone in Essos. Not everyone, just the bad guys.
Today I'm going to teach you how to kill your teacher and wear her face so you can give yourself attendance.
Yay!
What a great show. What does our audience think was the best last scene?
Sansa Queen of
Sansa Queen of the North.
Because
Of course.
most satisfying.
Most
Of
and-
course,
Yeah.
hands down.
Yeah.
Again another arc
I
that they
just-
more or less brought home.
Yeah.
I think
Right?
closed
थोड़ा जॉन
properly,
को
yeah.
खुशी दे देते ना तो मुझे
Yeah,
अच्छा
seriously,
लगता
I felt like John.
Yeah.
उसका face
बेचारा
भी
जॉन
famous
है
है।
बेचारा
बेचारा
जॉन।
जॉन
मैं वापस
face-
third में
But he belonged, I feel like he's happy there.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he
looks
Like I
happy.
legit feel
I mean,
like he's
Snow.
happy there.
Jon Snow, not John
Targaryen.
Sand.
No, but
Or
I
Green.
mean-
Yeah.
Even,
Not
even
Jon
Targaryen,
Beach.
right? Targaryen, you can't spell Targaryen without Gar, which is like
Wow,
cold,
that's a bit
right?
of
Thunder
stretch,
Gar,
buddy.
Gar. I'm
He's
just
really
saying,
upset he
guys,
lost that pun contest and really just
guys,
acted.
not the first pun contest I've lost. It won't be the last pun contest I've lost. Final thoughts on not just the finale, but the show overall. 8 seasons. Worth it? Like now that you've seen it all, would you tell somebody to like absolutely watch it?
Yes.
And if you would, where would you tell them to stop? Here's a fun question.
Yeah,
Where would you
yeah.
tell them to stop?
Season 6 for sure.
The one before this, I think.
Season 7?
Season 7.
Season 7.
No, watch the whole thing. It's part of
Season
the
6 stuck, yeah.
experience.
Till season 6, I was at the edge of my seat and then I just kind of lost interest.
Arey yaar.
I mean, also like and also you can tell somebody to stop at season 7, but they would be like, no, I still want to
no,
see.
you
how
won't
it
be.
goes.
I
Able
feel
to
like,
stop.
you know what I feel? I
Able
feel
to
like they
stop.
should wait till George Martin completes the books and then make season 7 and 8.
That-
Again.
Again.
नहीं होने
And you know there are
That's
petitions.
what they did.
There are lots
I
of petitions.
hated what they did with the 7 and 8.
Can you?
People have talked about it.
Dude, can you
But
imagine
I-
being in the
I-
cast? You planned out the rest of your life. अगले 3-4 साल में ये movie करे, ये
Like,
करेगा.
like-
If you were the fan, वो random आदमी, वो
बोला है।
सूरत में बैठा उसको चाहिए कि एमिलिया तू आ, कीट लेकिन वापस आ सेट पे.
तो ये डायलॉग बोल.
वो लिख के लाया. हमने पोल किया.
Reshoot.
Cool.
At least the Starbucks coffee will not be there anymore.
You don't know that.
I feel like I would tell people to stop watching at the end of the Battle of the Bastards. Like when the
Yeah,
Stark
that's very
flag finally
powerful.
comes down over
Over
Winterfell,
Winterfell.
Yeah.
and you see like the entire Stark family standing there.
No,
Yeah,
but
that's
is everyone in that point?
No, there's
Arya's
Sansa,
not there.
there's
No,
Jon.
Arya's
No,
not there.
Arya's not
Arya
there.
comes later.
Yeah,
Oh, Arya and
comes
Jon
later.
meeting in that next
Yes.
season.
This
Oh,
season.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
Lord
yeah,
Baelish,
yeah. Lovely
yeah.
That
season.
happened in the first episode.
Lovely it was.
And this thing,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
great
now
show.
we have 3 more questions, but these questions are not quiz questions.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, anybody who gets the answers to all 3 will win $50 in their insider wallet.
Not us.
You
right?
guys, if you know, you don't. Sorry, sorry guys, you just win goodwill. Anybody who knows the answer here, please shh,
Okay.
until the audience gets it. All right. Question number 1. The name of Dany's dragons were Drogon, Viserion, and Dash.
Such a difficult
Cougar.
What do you think?
Oh god, I thought we were not supposed to give any
Tuffy.
spoilers.
Tuffy.
अब यही होएगा रमेश.
Tuffy. Tuffy.
Tommy.
If the dragon name would have been Tuffy, the show would have ended very differently.
Yeah, he would have
Like,
gone
very-
and
yes.
given the note to
Yes, he
the
would-
wrong person.
Sorry, he would have definitely
Tuffy the
moved
dragon.
on. And the correct answer is, of course,
Dougal.
the correct answer is, of course, guys, come on.
Wow, guys, you're really
Nobody
slow,
knows
guys.
this.
Come on.
Rhaegar.
Yes. Oh man, a couple of people did in fact choose Dougal.
Did you confuse
I'm
them?
proud.
Congratulations for whatever show you all were watching. I hope it was better than the Game of Thrones finale.
They were making it a toughie show.
Question number 2. Who was responsible for the creation of the Night King? Was it the Lord of Light? Was it the Children of the Forest? Was it the Drowned God? Or was it the First Men? Because you know who I think was responsible for the creation of the Night King?
Bran.
George R.R. Martin.
Oh, controversial.
Controversial, unpopular opinion. But I think, according to the subverted expectations,
Yeah, that's true.
it
yeah.
was
That
George
subverted
R.R.
People
expectation was
saying
the
that-
thing, right?
What a great,
J.R.R.
great theme, yeah.
Tolkien.
They wanted to
People
subvert
think that
expectation.
Bran was the Night King.
There was
people
so
saying
basically,
people-
yeah.
There were so
Oh,
many
lots of
theories.
theories.
Yeah,
That
that
Bran,
Bran, yeah.
Bran was actually Bran the Builder who
And
made
the Night
wall
King.
and
Yeah.
the Night King.
Yeah.
And so he's everything.
And
So like when the
Arya.
Night King was
Yeah.
coming towards Bran, the
Yeah.
theory was that he will kneel at the last moment before Arya came and killed him. He was supposed to kneel and
Oh,
like,
that would be cool.
yeah,
Then he
but
would be dead.
anything would be cool.
swear.
That's true.
The Night King getting destroyed in one episode, but it's just
Nay, ice and fire. But you know what? That whole prophecy was that the darkness was Daenerys. She was the Azor Ahai, the prince promised.
Yes.
would
I think they
relieve people from
jumped
the light.
Azor Ahai in the TV
They
show.
didn't call it Azor Ahai, but they said na the prince that was promised. Yeah. So that was Jon killing Daenerys.
Correct.
That was his whole role. He was never meant to rule. That's what
Sure.
people are saying now.
And
Not the Night King.
That's true. That's true. All had nothing to do with the long night,
Yeah.
basically.
Who would have been much worse? Apparently, Daenerys would have been much worse
Then the Night King?
than the Night King. So Jon had to fight both ice and fire. That's what.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And then they kicked him.
Your work here is done.
Yeah.
Congrats. So what you didn't see after the Avengers. Like after Endgame, they were just standing on the battlefield. Watch out, ghar jana hai kya? Final question. If you get this right, $50 in your insider wallet. What is the name of the representative from the Iron Bank played by Mark Gatiss a few seasons ago? Was it Quarren Halfhand? Was it Zaro Zohan Daxos? Was it Howard from the Halifax? Or was it Tycho Nestoris? What is the name? That Iron Bank plotline also, like, they basically got the money for the Golden Company and then
That's
the Golden
it.
Company got
That's it.
flambéed.
Now
basically.
they'll give money to Tyrion Lannister. Unko kya
Correct.
hai?
Unko
Yeah.
kya hai? The
So
banks
you know,
keep
can I
lending.
tell you a funny thing that fun thing, not funny thing. I was in Rome.
Yes.
There's no way to say that.
There's
without
no way to
sounding
sound like, wow, I was in Rome.
What happened?
And in the Colosseum, when they give you the audio guide and they tell you what used to happen in the Colosseum, they explain to us what a Lannister was. So
Okay.
the Lannister was a person during whenever the Colosseum was alive, the 2nd to 4th or 8th century AD, who used to be responsible for the gladiators. So he's the one who indulged in the trading and the training and the housing of the gladiators.
Okay.
So that person is a Lannister. T-A, yeah.
Oh.
So that's probably where he got. And so that was a
Lannister.
trader. That person was, he was rich, of course, because he
So they built their Lannister money
on gladiator
essentially
training.
gladiator
Yes,
training.
Yes.
God damn you, Lannisters. So you thought you couldn't get any worse. Now the correct answer is, of course, Tycho Nestoris. Which means if you got all 3 correct, congratulations. You have won 50 rupees.
Yay!
Alright. And with that, we have come to the end of the episode and indeed the end of Beyond the Wall and indeed the end of Game of Thrones. Final thoughts on Game of Thrones. One-line review of the show.
So looking forward to the books right now.
Yeah,
looking forward.
seriously.
I don't even mean that sarcastically. I want that meaty writing and I want that
The
impact.
books?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell
Yeah, so looking forward to the books.
I mean, if you love, you should read the A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
ये नहीं, ये सब मैंने कहा।
It's a good
scam है।
snack before the meal, which
नहीं।
is, you don't know
I
if you'll get the book or no.
I know, but like
So
I'm not
read
that
Night of
and
the
Song of
Seven
Ice and Fire.
Kingdoms.
I'm not reading 300 years.
It's lovely, Ashish. There is a lot of gore and like it feels like you're meeting an old friend again. It's
fine,
lovely.
sort
Just
of.
read it.
It's like being on Books on Toast. all
Yeah,
over again.
which everybody please
This is amazing.
subscribe.
This is
Subscribe
amazing.
to Books on Toast.
What do you think? One-line review.
Wait till George R.R. Martin finishes his books and then reshoot season 7 and 8.
नहीं होने वाला है.
Please,
नहीं होने
for
वाला
the
है.
love of
This is-
Starbucks and all your fans across the world, 40,
Meghna
50
still
million
beating
watch.
this drum.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so
It's not
Hoga.
gonna happen, Meghna, but it's sweet. They're making
अरे,
prequels. You can watch those.
अगर
And
कल
sequels.
फोन आएगा कि ये रीशूट करो तो
It's like many Arab actors.
कल ही तो आया था यार.
On that note, thank you to everybody who has watched Beyond the Wall. Thank you so much to my lovely guests. Thank you everybody who's taken this journey with us. And thank you to Game of Thrones for 8 years of mostly pretty amazing entertainment.
Yeah. Still
so
a great show.
It is still a
I
great
think this
show.
is also where
And also
Jon
thank you to the
Love-
entertainment store for all the props and the t-shirt and all of that stuff. And thank you to Insider for hosting this live. And
Thanks for having us.
thanks for watching, people. And thanks. And bye, I guess.
Bye.
We'll miss you.
Bye. Yeah.
Game
We'll
of
miss
Thrones.
you, Game of Thrones.
We miss
Yeah,
you,
we
Game of
will.
Thrones.
Valar Morghulis and all
We'll-
that.
Your watch is ended.
Yeah.
Oh, our watch is
Our
ended.
watch is ended.
Our watch is ended,
Oh,
technically.
our watch is ended.
Our watch is ended.